All right, everybody, welcome to the lunch break this Monday, August 18th, 2025. Hope you guys are having a great start to your work week so far. I know we're only a couple hours in, so I'm sure you don't have a lot to judge it by right yet, but still, uh, we got to get started sometime, right? It's been definitely a Monday morning here at the shop, doing a lot of business things. Anytime you come in after a weekend, Monday mornings are always absolutely the biggest pain out there. We just have to embrace it. Like, what is that? Embrace the suck. But I hope you guys are having a decent day so far. And as people get on, we'll get everything going. Talk a little bit about what happened this weekend. Got a few things on my mind. Um, Things that I saw, things that maybe you've seen, and you want to throw it out there in the comments section. But definitely was a pretty hot. That's the one thing I can say about this weekend. It was hot. Watched some tournaments, watched some YouTube videos, and did a little work. Had to work on the old Jeep around the house and many other things. So, anyway, we'll get going. Well, like I said, while everybody else is jumping on, if you guys are watching on TikTok, make sure you give us a follow. And you guys, a lot of people that watch us on YouTube are not subscribed to the channel. So, if you are one of those and you're watching it either now or at a later date, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button, click that notification bell, all the things that the cool kids do. So, with that, we're going to get started. We'll go ahead and jump on our day in history as we normally do. And this could get you in some trouble. Totally is 100% how you want to look at it, how you want to perceive it, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm going to say in many ways it's a good thing. You be your own judge, okay? On this day in history, August 18th, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States was ratified in Tennessee as it became the 36th state to approve and guarantee women's right to vote. That's right. On this day, women were given the right to vote. Now, again, what's up, Doc Holliday, Coleman Jones? Depending on your perspective as to whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm going to be safe, play it safe, and say it was a fantastic thing. Considering I have a wife and two daughters. But I found it interesting to you never think about when things happen like that. And it's always good to see what's going on in history. And what is up there? I see the traveling fisherman in the TikTok. Hey, I followed you, dude, on TikTok. I followed you. I saw you on there and I gave you a follow. Good stuff going on there. But, what do you guys think? If you're brave enough and you got a significant other in the comment section, what do you think? Women's right to vote, the 19th Amendment ratified on this date in history. And I don't think any of you guys are brave enough to answer that in the negative. If that's the way you feel, you're not going to do it. And I know you're not going to do it. And I don't blame you. What's up, traveling fisherman, buddy? But yeah, pretty interesting. So you guys take that knowledge for what it's worth and run with it. Run with it. Now, I was asked to kind of clarify a TikTok video before we get started on the regular topics, on a TikTok video that I put out this morning about tournaments, professional bass tournaments, local tournaments, and jokingly, kind of said we should do away with them. I don't want tournaments banned. The gist of it is, guys, is that a lot of people fish these tournaments, and man, we're not talking about on a professional level, but you can go that way. But I'm talking on your local level. And man, they take this stuff way too serious. Way too serious. And it gives a black eye to every one of us who just fish, or to anybody that doesn't want to have anything to do with tournaments. And, to be honest with you, if we're being honest and straightforward, most guys that fish in the United States are not tournament fishermen, whether it's bass fishing, walleye fishing, whatever. They're not. They're not tournament anglers. It's a very small portion of guys. However, what I see out there consistently is the griping, the drama, the accusations, the threats of violence in social media. You can't do that. And this has been put on social media by these guys. They're out there and they're calling people out by name. They are, telling people they're gonna do certain things to them. And you can't do that in this day and age, guys. The day of settling it at the ramp is over. It's over. You can't do it. Guys dang near killing other people running up the lake in charity tournaments is ridiculous. Yeah, that's another thing. What's up, Fred? Afternoon. Thank goodness it's Friday on a Monday. You must be getting ready to have some time off. But, I just sit back and I think you got people, number one, that fish that they don't like tournaments anyway. And for whatever reason, that's okay. You don't have to like it. But you're giving the anti-fishing crowd, just anybody in general that comes across some of these responses, man, you make us look bad. You make yourself look like a fool, and you make us look really bad. And you're just giving them ammunition. I don't ever want to ban tournaments. I fish tournaments from time to time. I think they're a lot of fun. I think we have a really good time. How do I want to say it's a really good time that, just to see other guys go to the ramp just to have fun. I'm a professional donator. I know I'm not going to win. I always have a chance, but I know odds are I'm not going to win that tournament. But I do it for fun, to get to see the guys. Luckily, my electric only club is full of good people. It's well run. We don't have to deal with the drama. But I sit back and I look at other people, and I'm just thinking, man, really? You really said that? You really told somebody you were going to do that? That's there forever. You can delete it, but I promise you somebody's already screenshot it. It ain't going nowhere, guys. You can't get it back. Big Long Johns. Looking forward to hearing about catching fish. I did not have a productive weekend. I hope everyone here experienced the opposite. Well, I didn't, and we'll tell you about it. I tried something different. Do you think tournaments hurt small reservoirs like Latham and Hickory Log? Carson Fowler wants to know. At this point, no. I don't think so right now. Can it? Can it? Alan, you can almost guess who is going to be in the top 10 consistently. That's with everything. I can tell you who's going to be in the top 10 in my electric only club. Got to go fish it anyway. It don't matter. I want to go beat them. I can tell you, I can guarantee you that I can tell you the top 5 just about every week. And it give or take. Every tournament, top 5, because the guys are good. They're really good. And it ain't, we have week off periods where you can't go fish, but I will say this, that the guys that are the most consistent, they pre-fish, they do the work. But I fish it anyway. It's all right. Put my Fish North Georgia hat on there and go out and advertise. But as far as the little lakes, I think sometimes tournaments get blamed, they get a bad rap on those lakes. But having tournaments every weekend for a couple months, listen, there's tournaments on them year round, but there's also kayakers, regular fishermen, all that. So how do you differentiate between what a tournament does to a small lake and what the regular fishing pressure does? It's kind of hard. That's kind of hard. But that's not even what really is my concern is when guys get on there and they basically threaten other people. And what that looks like for the fishing, for tournament fishing or for anglers as a whole. And listen, it ain't just anglers, it's in everything. But just because you can say it doesn't mean you should say it. You know what I'm saying? For instance, if you think someone is actually cheating in a tournament, throwing it out there on social media is probably not the first thing you need to do. Go talk to your tournament director. First of all, you better have proof. Then go talk to your tournament director. Go by the steps to do it right. And then if the tournament directors are not listening to you, blowing you off and all that, then maybe. But you need to go through the proper channels first. And then when you get on there, you got to understand they got buddies. People are going to come at you. People are going to come back at you with, hey, you might not want to say that or you're wrong or whatever. You got to be able to have a thick skin, number one, and realize what you get into. And the first thing you can't do is all of a sudden start telling somebody you're basically going to whip them. If you think it's bad in the big bass boat world for tournaments, you should see it in the kayak tournaments, Dino says on TikTok. Well, Dino, it is this kayak. It's the kayak world that has brought this to my attention this morning. It is the kayak world. I know what's going on. Trust me, I've had my phone has rang off the hook. And maybe by text messages. I've only had one or two actual phone calls, but text messages about that. And that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm not going to call out anybody's names. I'm not going to do that. What's up, Yak and Basson? But I sit back and I'm like, oh, that's not the way to handle it. That's probably not the smartest way to go about doing it. Because number one, if you're wrong and you put it out there, that's problems in and of itself. Number two, when people start coming back at you saying, hey, what do you think? Why are you saying that? This guy is a great guy, la da dee, la da da. You can't, you're just mad because you can't beat him. You got to expect that to happen. You got to expect that to happen. And you got to be smart about it. Okay, so yakking and bassing. This is Hogan. Okay, so you put it out there. It's Hogan, and no, it wasn't. What I did wasn't right. Hogan? No, man. It wasn't. Because here's something. Maybe this can be a life lesson, dude. Maybe this can be a life lesson. You're young. Because 3 or 4 posts that you put your statements out there, what you don't realize is how much it affects and how much it flows down the line. And what you say right here is going to be taken by this guy and told to this guy. And eventually, now it's blowed up. And I hate it. Monday morning, I get up coming to the shop. I should be thinking, hey, did I get any orders this weekend that I got to get out? Hey, I got a show today at lunchtime. I got to get ready for that. Got some shows this weekend. And my phone is going off because we have the social media and for other reasons. And I'm sitting there thinking, why are people telling me this? World travels. The word does travel fast in the fishing scene. But you have to understand this. And this goes for everybody. And I'm not just picking on you, dude. I want you to learn from this. Is your reputation as an angler and how you treat people and how you handle situations with social media today can be shot in a second. And it's hard to rebuild. The fishing industry is a big world, but it is a very tight-knit community. And Lord knows people like to talk. There's ways to handle situations and disagreements. And in this day and age, guys, you can't put out, even if you are joking or not being very serious, you can't put out a threat of any type out there. You just can't do it these days. And you can call it Karens, you can call it whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just you got to be smart when you're playing the game. When you're playing the game, you got to be smart. Like I used to, let me just tell you how people react to certain things. And this is a perfect example. Sal Pinto, one of my better friends in the fishing industry, has been on my podcast several times. We talk, we hug every time. I like the daylights out of Sal Pinto. When he comes on, I tell him he's my favorite Yankee. Lovingly. And he always, when he texts me, he goes, I'm still your favorite Yankee. Well, I just said the word Yankee. And I got emails the next day about how it offended people and all that. Whether you agree or disagree with that, that's just the way it is. And then that person, let's say they have a bad experience with that, they're going to tell the next person, and next thing you know, I got people outside in front of my shop protesting me because I was telling a guy that I absolutely love, just kind of a little affectionate jab that we have each other. Now let's just flip that to the other side. When you do things where you are really coming off at people and you're really threatening them, how much even more is that going to affect people? And it just snowballs, dude, and it snowballs. And here's another thing too. you've got a guy out there. Let's just take the kayak world, who's thinking about getting into kayak tournament fishing. And they're on social media. And they're looking for different groups and organizations. Different groups and organizations to watch, to join. Maybe those are the guys for me. I want to get into it. What is good about this organization? And they get on your Facebook page, and you got all that going on in the comment sections. Can't do it. You can't do it. You affect people more than you know. I wasn't even going to talk about this today, but we might as well. Because at the end of the day, the purpose of Fish North Georgia and what your purpose in fishing should be, number one, to enjoy fishing, but number two, to build up your community. And when I say that, I'm talking about the fishing community. You're supposed to be able to build it up. You're supposed to be an ambassador, whether you can talk or not, just by how you're supposed to be an ambassador. And granted, we all make mistakes. I have screwed up doing this, and I've burned a bridge or two, and luckily I've been able to mend a bridge or two. It took me a while to learn it. It was nothing to go down there on the podcast, have a few drinks, and just basically blast people. Well, that's not what people expect. I had to learn it the hard way, and maybe some of you got to learn it the hard way too. So maybe take my advice for that. But we're supposed to build up the community. We're supposed to make fishing enjoyable for everybody. We're supposed to be able to teach people, impart a little bit of wisdom. Not everybody can do that. I mean, some people want to keep it all to themselves. I get it. But what do you want to be known as? Okay, you can be the greatest tournament angler in the world, and if people think you are a absolute jerk, you ain't helping nobody. So I hope with that situation that's going on, that some apologies can be made, some fences can be mended, and then we'll see. We'll see how we go from there with it. But I'd much rather have come in this morning and people was like, hey, dude, you see that fish so-and-so caught in that tournament? Did you see the weights and all that? Not, oh, Lord, here's somebody else calling somebody else out and doing this and doing that. I mean, literally 11 different people called me this morning. And I'm a nobody. Imagine if I was a somebody. I know we got a pretty good following. I know we got the podcast. I know we got a lot of things that people watch and all that. But think if I was really a somebody. What I missed, just got off the water. Tracy Coker, I'm just griping. I want everybody in the fishing world to get along. Danny, did you see the bass I caught Saturday? No, John, I wasn't on social media too much Saturday. I was underneath a Jeep trying to fix a Jeep. But was it a good one? Now, but again, to those that are involved in that particular issue on all sides, I really wish y'all would get together, make the apologies where the apologies are needed, mend some fences. Okay, mend some fences. If you did something wrong, man up, say, I'm sorry, say it to the right people. And if you're not sorry, then you're just going to have to deal with the consequences. Dane Hunter, you are somebody. I saw you in a cutout of me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Now, that being said, let's move forward. But just remember that, guys, anything you post, it's there. It's there. Think before you post and realize that you represent a lot more than just yourself. That's all I'm saying. Even if you are 100% correct in what you believe and what you're saying, think about it. Handle it a different way. Don't handle it on social media. That's not the way to do it. So, okay. Hogan, I made a mistake. I learned my lesson, and I'm paying for the consequences now. Now, Hogan, I will say this. Since you are saying it and you're putting it out there, if you do it the right way, and if you're really contrite in your heart, you'll be forgiven, or you should be. Some people may not. Some people will. Okay? But you got to pay the piper. Got to pay the piper. We all have to do that at some point. So just if you've learned, don't make that mistake again. And I know some of it's hard. It's funny me saying that because I asked my wife. I've made the same mistake 452,328 times. Sometimes it takes a lot to learn, but you're still young. Don't do it when you're old like me and you're a little more stubborn in your ways. Okay. Um, I will talk to you after the show. Okay. I will talk to you after the show. What's up, farmer? Now let's get into some more positive stuff. As in the Bible, it's better to turn the cheek than it is to speak. Well, yes and no. Don't take it out of context. Sometimes, you got to turn the tables over and whip the money exchangers in the temple. Okay, that's in there too. So you just got to. We'll talk about it anyway. Now, talking about fishing this weekend. Listen, Cletus, taking me 4 tires to learn that I need to keep my spare tire in my truck bed instead of the trailer where it keeps falling off and shredding tires. You have the worst luck, Cletus. The worst luck with boat trailer tires of any human being I have ever met in my life. And you've done it all in the last 6 months, it seems like. But we love you. Hopefully you learned the lesson this time. So hopefully you learned your lesson. Quit making a mistake. Dang, we're adults. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, but either way, move on. Yeah. I mean, listen, Dane's a goober. I'm just kidding, dude. But yeah, I mean, listen, trying to give Matty O a run for his money with boat troubles. Yeah. What's up, Gone Fishing with Ed? How you doing, buddy? Oh, you're going to Idaho. Oh, your trip's in 22. Okay, never mind. That's a totally different thing. But anyway, where did you guys fish this weekend? All right. Where did you go fishing? And what I want to know is, how was the crowds? Because I figured this. I was going to do something different. I've got some new Spro, baits called the Larva. Been called worse by better. There you go. But I wanted to go try them because I think not only that they're coming out for trout, but I think you could do a lot of different things. And I think I told you guys last week, I had a customer in here who went down here to the edge of the world on Amicalola Creek and was catching red-eye bass. And I know there's spots in there too. So I thought I would go. Chris Akins fished on Lanier. How was it? Was it busy? I thought if I waited till Sunday evening, I could go down there because this place that I want to go is notorious for people taking their families, sitting on these rocks and letting the kids just waller in these pools. I went bank fishing, caught a couple of brim 1 bass, and it flew up, so I have to go back and get that. Coleman didn't make it out to the lake this weekend. We'll probably hold off until late September to spare the wallet and the knee. Yeah. The real Michael, I fished the Okmulgee River, and we saw around 10 people in 10 hours. Not all were anglers. Well, you know why? Because every one of them was sitting where I wanted to go fishing this weekend. You learned how out of shape you are. Yeah, I'm really getting serious about my diet. This is the week I'm going to really make things. Because I walked a lot to get to where I was going. And I was like, whew. Lunch break. Ditch Pickle Daddy. What's up, buddy? Lake Lanier on the water at 6:30 a.m. just before sunrise on Sunday, off the water by 1 p.m. Getting back across the main lake to get back to the boat ramp was absolute insanity with boats and jet skis. Tracy Coker just got off the Lanier and it was pretty quiet this morning. I think the fish took their advice, had several bites just trying out my new Mega Live 2. Yeah, let me know how you like that. What's up, Messick? I thought, hey, don't do it on Saturday because it's Saturday. I thought don't do it Sunday early, but I thought maybe if I waited till, and guys, we're talking about 5:30, 6 o'clock, that I could people would go. The fishing probably wouldn't be good because all them kids would be, running around in the little pockets. What you got to understand, the edge of the world is basically where the Amicalola Creek becomes like, was it Class 2 Rapids? Class 2 Rapids. Let's see, Allen was mid-lake on Lanier Saturday. It wasn't too bad from 6:30 to 11. Boy, real Michael had a good day. 3 angles, we caught 30. But I thought if I waited, because listen, it's all public water, right? You can't really fuss unless they're in a wake boat. They got the same rights to the water as we do. I thought, but listen, this is a river. School's back in. The people from the city that come up would be gone, going back home. It was absolutely packed. It was packed. And I was like, well, I didn't think it through. I probably should have gone this morning and probably would have had a chance to get back out there and fish. But I was just wondering, if the crowds were where you guys were at, as as bad as they were on a little section of a creek up here in Dawson Forest, which for any of you guys that hunt, if you hunt Dawson Forest, the big Atlanta track, the rumor is, I don't know how true it is, that this is the last year they're going to allow hunting on that, because the city of Atlanta, which owns it, is selling it, and I believe to developers. Now, I don't know that to be true 100%. That's a general from 80,000 feet looking down. They've always owned that. Used to have the old nuclear power plant there, nuclear reactor site, all that, where they were building where they were going to build the bomber, the nuclear powered bomber back in the 50s, 60s. It's not fully official yet, but could happen. Smiley's Adventures too. Yeah, and that's sad, dude. I mean, good grief. If ever there was a big piece of property that needed to be bought and preserved, it's that. But progress, right? Trophies or trees fishing? Danny, need you to know, capital S. My life's been kind of a mess lately. I've been binging your content, and it's really kept me grounded. Thank you so much. Well, let me tell you something, trophies and trees. You're in the right spot, because we all got it. I promise you. And that's very kind that you said that. If you need anything, let's see if I can type this out real quick. I know I'm not normally, this is why I have guys doing this. Right there is my number, trophies and trees, right there in the comment section. If you need me for anything, call me, text me, whatever. But I appreciate that. But you know what? I'm the heathen just like you, man. I mean, we all go through it, and we're here. Anything we can do to help. Absolutely. But if you go back too far and watch some of that stuff, man, is unwatchable, because our internet, the audio was great, but the internet back here in Marble Hill, back before we got fiber, back before we, became, like the real world. Oh, watching some of that stuff was terrible. Some of that early lives that we used to do, it was terrible. We have come a long way, but you're always welcome. You got my number right there. If ever I can do anything for you, you let me know. That goes for all you guys. You guys have been here, you know it. Yes, a nuclear research facility, Tracy, but they were going to build the bomber there. It was a nuclear powered airplane bomber, and it finally got scratched and all that. That's the official what it was. I guess to research and see if they can make it happen. And so I imagine you can't build on that section, but it is some prime real estate. It's some prime real estate. Now, unfortunately, the hunting is not as good as it used to be, because everybody in Atlanta comes up and hunts it. It gets a little crowded every once in a while, but hey, listen, again, back to the public thing, right? Just like I didn't want to see all them people there yesterday, but Lord knows they's there. And you know what? As I was walking back out, I didn't fish long. I was just playing around with the GoPro. As I was walking back out, people were still coming in at 6:30. Still coming in. And I was like, what are you people doing? Y'all need to go home. What's up, Doug Rice? And yeah, trophy or trees fishing. Really, anybody, especially anybody associated with that podcast that we do, you reach out to them. Farmer, Alex Purse, Tim McGuire, Tony Cullum, all of them. Clint, Cletus up there. You reach out to all of them. Best feeling happened to me yesterday, and that's finding a big largemouth on a primary spotted bass fishery. They're out there. Iron Duke, I put in at Toto, packed yesterday. We need it to be cold. That's what's going to keep them home. You can still see the pump house on the Etowah River that pumped water to the nuclear reactor to cool it down. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's like, do you guys realize too, you got to think about this. 400 didn't exist back in the day. A lot of those engineers came from Atlanta and down that way and drove up Old Highway 9 all the way there. I've seen articles where people talk about the drive. Now, granted, they didn't have all the traffic back then, but still. And as you go down to Etowah and you look, you can see the old train trestles and all that kind of stuff. It is pretty cool. Now, of course, you got the yahoos that get out there and they decide to paint everything. And that's another thing. I don't understand graffiti. I just do not understand graffiti. And maybe that's me being 50 something years old and just raised differently. But I have never once in my life, number one, I don't carry spray paint with me wherever I go. But number two, I've never had the desire to go down, find a bridge or a piece of concrete or a rock and write my name on it or anything. Like old John Deere Green, the song. Never had the desire to do that. And even right there at Amiclola Creek, the 53 bridge, you start walking down there, people have painted it. I just don't know what goes through people's mind. Like, really, can't nobody see it. Why are you painting it? I don't think it's cool. But anyway, that's the old fart in me right there. But I hope they don't sell it. I really hope they don't sell it. Or let me rephrase it. I hope somebody buys it and preserves it. Now, if somebody buys it and puts houses on it, this is America. That is just, I'm a capitalist. Do it. But I hope that somehow they can not do that. Straight up vandalism, Doug says. Well, it is, but I just don't understand the desire. Every bridge piling in the river spray painted. Yeah. Now listen. If the tree is still there, I will say this. Behind my daddy's house in Forsyth County was one of them. Is it sweet gum? What is the tree that's got the real soft bark to it? And I admit that back in the 7th grade, I had a crush on a girl. And I went, and you remember we used to do that little kind of cross thing where we'd put our initials up top and the girls, whoever we liked, on the bottom. That same tree, though, I wasn't the first one to hit it. Somebody had put carved 1933 in it. I still remember this. And somebody carved out traced their hand in it. I don't agree with graffiti, but Native Americans and other ancient civilizations marked whatever on anything. Listen, Real Michael, I get it. They's putting, the buffaloes and all that on it. I get it. A little bit different. But I do get that. Still, it's just kind of like, I don't get the spell it so no one knows what it says style of graffiti either. Yeah, you can't even read the stuff. If they develop that property, Dawson will need to invest more in the infrastructure. They need to do it now. That's another thing. If we just going to get on things that don't, and I'll get to the serious questions in a second. I don't know, Messick, if Alex is in here. Okay. And Big John, I'll get to your thing right there in just a second. Why do we always, at least in the state of Georgia, build the developments and then come back and have to build the road? Highway 360 or Highway 20 in Cumming, absolutely perfect example. Dawson County is a joke. Yeah, unfortunately it is. They allow on the 575 of things, and Cumming's blowed up, and it's always been 2-lane, and they've got the new Publix. They got all the stuff down there on Highway 20. They build it all, and then they go back, oh, we might want to make this a 4-lane road. Why wouldn't you know that progress is coming and go ahead and make that a 4-lane road before you build all this stuff? It is reactive, not proactive. Iron Duke, 100%. It is. That's the way we work around here, and it's dumb. Okay, let's get to a serious question before I rant too much more. What technique bait has everyone here been finding most productive for bass fishing in lakes as of late? Big Long Johns wants to know. You guys put it in the comment section what you guys been doing it. I will say this. For me, it's a Nico chicken rig on the bottom. That's been the best thing. Gone fishing with Ed, shake your head on the bottom. Not to say you can't catch fish up in the water column, because you can. But also, too, it's what's your strength. You pretty much can catch fish on anything right now. You're going to have to work for it a little bit. Chicken rig, Chris Johnson, 63696. Are you asking me what is a chicken rig? Iron Duke, I tried the chicken rig yesterday, nothing. But are you asking what it is, Chris? Weightless wacky worm, always good. You're asking, okay, so basically, think of a Nico. Okay, think of a Nico. Instead of having a hook like a wacky on top, an exposed hook, you're basically taking a hook and you're going down through the kind of like a third of the way down, and you're basically Texas rigging it. So it's like a Texas rig Nico. If you want to see a video on it, go to Dave Aldridge, Aldridge. I think I spelled it right. On YouTube. He's a buddy of ours. He put out a little video. He's the one that showed me the chicken rig. It's really good on grass lakes. It's the way you can fish a plastic worm in grass lakes, the Nico style, without that exposed hook, so you're not getting grass and everything. Let's see. Carolina Rig Lizard. Right now, it's working for Dino. I had the NRS boots, but they did not keep. Oh, you're talking about fishing in the wintertime, John G. Yeah, check it out. And if you can't get it figured out, if you don't find it, shoot a message to me on TikTok, and I'll give you the link. I'm getting skunked at my lake low. Fish for 4 hours, not even a bite. It's tough. It's tough right now, but you got to fish your strengths. I've been trying to force the topwater bite over main lake humps and points, but the bass just aren't reacting much to me. And I will tell you this, Big Long Johns, that has been one of the differences in fishing this year. The topwater bite, at least the people that are talking to me or that I've experienced out there on the water, has not been like it normally is. Tracy said, I tried that chicken rig today, had a few bites, but nothing really wanted it. And you tried a few different colors too. I think it has its place. Trophy or trees fishing a wacky rigged Hellgrammite. Interesting, because the Hellgrammite ain't very big. I'd like to see your setup on that. Greenfish tackle, 2-2 jig, and pressured scoping lakes. But going back to what Big Long John said with that topwater bite. Now, there's always the outliers that seem to go out there every time and catch it, no matter how they want to do it. Iron Duke, Lizard Texas rig, 3 on Friday afternoon. There you go. Gonna keep trying it. There's always those guys that can make it happen no matter what. Oh, you make 5-inch Hellgrammites. Okay. All right, that's a big Hellgrammite. Okay, so that's a little bit different. I've seen some bass crush the surface, but when I cast onto them, nothing. Chris says drop shot during the daylight hours and slow rolling a blade after dark. That's a good way to do it. Even on Latham, which is in my front yard, on a regular day, regular year, when I leave the shop and I drive, you top a little hill. Here's the boat ramp, but you can see the lake. You can see enough of the lake. And I got to run hiking to a mountain to fly fish for grayling. Are you going to have it live, traveling fisherman? Let me know if you're going to have it live today. I might check it out later on this afternoon. But normally I can see them schooling on top. I can see them spotted bass chasing bait, and they would stay up and they'd be staying up for a sustained amount of time. Even yesterday, after I left the river, I ran across, was just going to go across the Latham, and I ran over there, and I could cast this thing a good ways just to see if I could see any schoolers close to where I could reach them. Nothing. You might get 1 or 2 fish come up, but then they go straight back down. They're not staying up the way they normally do. And I will say that couldn't get anything on top water, even throwing it right in the middle of them schooling on top. Now, also, too, I think they're already keying in on very small bait. A lot of guys have been talking about that. Very small bait. And if you had seen it, and I don't have them in here, if you've seen one of them new Spro larvae, it's a little micro spinner bait. But it's heavy enough that you can bomb it. Does Latham have bluebacks? Joe Bennett, yes. A bunch of them. Doug says I caught a few on topwater, but not most. The topwater's been funky for him this year. And that's true. Farmer says finesse baits have been the most consistent, getting more bites. The bigger the fish are choosing bait in the mouths of creeks, preparing for the fall transition. The mouth of the creeks are loaded. Rick Moore says he's been deep cranking. And let me just make sure. Chuck Thrasher, what's up, buddy? Glad you could come and join us today. Real Michael, you guys, y'all check out his video content. But the topwater, man, I mean, listen, and there might be that outlier day. There might be that one day where it's just like it's supposed to be, but consistently this year, it ain't happening. At least, okay, again, let me rephrase that. Again, for most people that come in here and talk to me about it. Old school trick worm, Texas rig style bait, Rob Robleski. Yeah. Rooster Tail is catching the big ones. Yep, we talk about that here. This time of the year, guys, if you see some schooling, okay, I'll get to that question real quick, Chris, in a second. If you see them schooling, I'm telling you, if you can put a rooster tail in front of them, they'll bust it. Keying in on smaller bait. But not to change the subject, but do you have any particular guys that you think will finish top 10 EQs? No, but I know some I'm rooting for. Dylan. Didn't Dylan make it? I think Dylan made it. I think Geeka has been my go-to here lately, Chuck Thrasher says. What the heck's a Geeka? Just for those that don't know, put it back in the comment section there. A Jackal riser bait will help you this time of the year when the top water's tough. But even guys throwing some of the risers that I've talked to are not getting hit like they normally would. Not like normal. But I think, Chris, I'll have to look at the list. What's up, Twitch 81? Dynamite. Dynamite to do it. Let's go old school, baby. What was them things we used to have back when I was in elementary school and middle school? Was it M80s? Something like that? Little bitty things. I mean, if you're hungry and you got to eat, M60. There you go. Okay. What exactly? I mean, let's see. Yeah, M80s. We used to have them little things. You get them every once in a while. You thought you was doing something illegal. M80 right there. Y'all remember that? We had them. Now we got in trouble with them. Now we never blasted fish because you know what? My grandfather had the old telephone crank. If I was going to go do that, we was going to crank that telephone. Knew a guy who lost a finger, and it will do it. It will do it. Doug C. Farmer says they're hitting the riser, but they're not eating it. Missed like 12 blow-ups on it last Wednesday. And that's another thing, too. So that's what a lot of people are talking about. And even I saw that when I was fishing with Underwood. I saw Underwood in here. How you doing, buddy, if you're still here? A lot of fish would come up, and they'd turn. I don't think we had to go down a little bit with the fluke to get some bites, but that classic top water kabloosh blow up and daggum bluebacks flying out of the water, and you got 1.5 acres of a school just going right down the middle of a creek and all that, just blowing fish to pieces. No. Okay, Underwood says that Geeka rig, it's like a drop shot, but the weight is attached directly to the hook. Okay, I got you. Yeah, the old school frog works for me. It'll do it. But that's just, let's see. Hey, Danny, thanks for the tip on Dave Aldridge's video. Very good video. The Nico rig. That's a good one. Yeah, if you want to know what the chicken rig is, Dave's video is good. But it's been different. And I don't know. And guys, you know what? Even last year, it was a little bit different. Okay, that's the one he's talking about. Okay, I got you, Twitch. Even last year, people were complaining all summer that the topwater bite wasn't right. And I can tell you, this past? A lot of tournaments were won shallow this year. What's the latest you can throw a frog in Georgia? If you're on the right lake all year. Just depends. Depends on what kind of weather we got. But I'd say most people put it up after October, I would think. Geeka rig is good for those new sea urchin style baits. Rob says the floating worms were good to him yesterday. If y'all make it to Kentucky this fall, throw a Mikey Jr. for topwater. Thank me later. Chris Johnson, 63696, says like that. What is a Mikey Jr.? Tell me what it is. Alatuna's topwater far more superior right now. And hey, you know what, Joe? You could be right. It could be Lake specific. I'm just telling you, Lake Lanier, it's not there like it normally has been. If you can get them to come up and commit, the Chug Bug and I'm a Skimmer was getting better fish on Thursday. Okay, it's the weight bait made by Jackal. Okay, I got you. And Chuck is telling you to hush, Kevin Underwood, on them sea urchin style baits like that. I don't know why, but the buzz baits never work for me. I don't know why. See, okay, Twitch, I'm the opposite. We're going to flip. Buzz baits work for me, but that damn Whopper Plopper doesn't. I don't know why. It's never worked for me. I hate it with a passion. Can't stand that bait. Buzz bait's good. Whopper Plopper. I was going to say Chapo, Whopper Plopper, down. But I'll say that in here, and then some guy will walk in undoubtedly. I catch giants on it. Like they don't just say I catch fish. They all go, oh, I catch giants, absolute giants on that. And I'm like, no, you don't. There ain't no way you do. Location, location, location. Yeah, I don't. But back to that frog thing. Really, honestly, Rob, Whopper Plopper is fire during the fall. No, it ain't. Don't lie. You ain't got to get on here. We're friends already, Rob. We're friends. This is a safe place. You can say it ain't. Oh, okay. Doug Rice, yes, I will call you. Whopper Plopper is what I call a 5.5 and 2 3.5 Saturday on. See, as always, that one guy. Chandler Irwin says he loves them too. As always, that guy like John G. I catch giants. And listen, you probably do. Now, you fish a lot of rivers, I bet. Are you catching more on that? Let me ask you this. Okay. And we're not even going to have a chance to get to the bent carrot today. But are you catching more fish? You guys that love the okay, Twitch us. What's the water temp there? We're back up into the mid 80s, I think. If you guys that are throwing the ploppers that are catching the big fish, are you getting more in the river style current waters or on the lakes? What kind of rod do you guys recommend for a frogging stick? Real Michael, I'm not the guy to answer that. So you guys in the comment section that want to answer that to Real Michael. And if somebody on TikTok wants to throw it out there, I'll read it as well. Okay. What kind of rod do you guys recommend for a frogging stick? Medium heavy with a braided line, Twitch says. That is from Twitch81. With a little fry in the water, it could be a smaller buzz bait time. It could be. I hate him too because I had a friend that started fishing with me. He was new to fishing. He literally asked me what I thought he should throw, and he'd always throw that Whopper Plopper. Can't stand the noise. And gone fishing with Ed, that's exactly the same reason, because my buddy Josh, my partner here, first year throwing tournaments, he put that big monster Whopper Plopper on there with that DC Corrado, and all it would go is like, and I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. Now, it could catch fish, but I can't stand it. Whopper Ploppers in the evening is where it's at. I've had better luck with a Hellraiser in a pond. Brian 4529. Listen, that's another one, though. That Hellraiser, again, guys that catch fish on it love it. I think that's one of the most gimmicky baits I've ever thrown in my life. And I don't have any confidence throwing that thing. So I'm very honest and upfront with that. I probably haven't given it the chance it needs. But it's that's a boogered up looking bait. 7'3" heavy with a tippy tip and 50-pound braid back on that thing. Never been bit on a Whopper Plopper. It's only good for hanging up in trees. Give me my buzz bait and a walking spook. John says in the river all day, on lakes just in the morning. Okay. And then Tyler Shellnut says a 7'3" heavy X-Bride braided line. Okay, let's see. Did you hear about people saying the Ned rig is dead for fishing? Well, I will say this. I used to throw a Ned rig all the time for the spotted bass here. One more thing, frog rod, 7'4" heavy with an 8-1 gear ratio, real 60-pound braid. Rob says around docks and lay down seems to work for me throwing a Whopper. But during the fall, early winter, it's a badass bait. The big black chopper. Okay. Chapo. I get what you're saying. Cody fell asleep in the car and missed the first 45 minutes of the show. Cody, you got to be better than that, man. But I'll say, so I started throwing a Ned rig around here about 3 or 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago, a lot for the spots around here. And you just, honestly, if you just put that in the water, boom, 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 boom. I don't fish it as often anymore. Now, since I don't commit to it, I can't tell you if the bites changed on it, but I don't use it as much because while I could catch numbers, I never really could catch that tournament winning fish. You'd love to fish a spotted lake. Chris says, dude, you need to come down to Lake Lanier. Alatoona is not bad. You need to come to Lake Lanier if you want, I'm talking ridiculous spotted bass fishing. Doug said, gave my plopper to my dad in a little tournament because it was easy, and he put the first keeper in the boat. I was shocked. And listen, that's the way it works, right? That's like the first time you take somebody hunting and they pop that 10-pointer. Low, paying for my trip, I'll come. I was on Lanier Saturday and had a blast, bearded bass hunter. Hey, listen, Twitch. I ain't got no money, bro. I ain't got no money. I got a couch down here in the basement you might can sleep on. Uh, I caught a bunch of smallmouth up north with a Ned rig, so it still catches fish. Now, again, the ones, yeah, I would say up north, they're still very, very prevalent. Now we can call it a dead Ned. Danny, what night will Hogan be the guest on? He's a friend of mine. We'll talk about that later, John. I can skip a buzzbait, so I'll pick the buzzbait over a whopper plopper, open water, and schooling fish to plopper. Me, couch is better than in a truck seat. I guess you're talking about him. What's your opinion on buzzbaits? They'll blast them. They will blast them. Should I be killing all these spotted bass in the rivers when I catch them? Probably not in the rivers. If you're on Blue Ridge up here, though, yep. If you're on a smallmouth fishery or a lake like that, yep. I've seen some controversy with them being in the rivers and harming the fishery. Spotted bass take over anywhere they get. Okay, got to go. Have fun. See you, buddy. My opinion on buzzbaits. Now, I'm going to try some of these new ones from Tactical and Brazzalos. Was it Brazzalo? Which one's the Weed Whacker you guys have been having right here? I throw the Spro ones. I really like them. I catch fish on them. I'm generally one of two colors, white or black. Generally throw them early in the morning, late in the evening. If it's cloudy, you can throw it all day. I would prefer to throw a buzzbait. Now, I will admit you can bomb a Chapo a lot farther. I heard they could take out a shoaly fishery. They can now. I mean, they can. I don't know. It's kind of, it's one of them things. I can tell you on Blue Ridge up here, though. 20, 25 years ago, you could go out there and you could target smallmouth and largemouth. Okay? You cannot do that no more because the spots have gotten in there and have decimated the smallmouth population and or crossbred with them. There's still a few, and I think they're trying to put some more in there. And again, I think it's one of those situations where DNR is like, take them out. We're not going to enforce it. Do you always put a toad on a buzzbait? No. Just depends on my mood. Be honest with you. I'll fish a skirted buzzbait. Yeah, okay. So the Weed Whacker's Brazzalo's little bitty one. Yeah, that's an awesome one. I think, too, a lot of people, I will say this, I think a lot of people, they don't downsize. They don't downsize on buzzbaits. And that little one from Brazzalo that we had the other night when Andrew Blair of Tactical was on, and we had his like frog or whatever it was on there. And that was a very micro style buzzbait. That was awesome looking. That was my next question is if you put a trailer on your buzzbait. It just depends. Just depends. Most guys do. I don't always do that. I like the Accent Wheeler Buzz. I like Accent's B2B that's got the floaters on it. Some people I fish with in the river keep all the spots and eat them. Some don't. At this point, removing them is not going to eliminate them. Explain how Lake Murray hasn't been taken over by spots, considering they are in the river that feeds it. Well, I will tell you this. I am not a biologist, so I'm going to guess, Messick. I'm going to guess. No, you know what? I don't know that I can guess. I would say this. Your largemouth out there, school-like spots. Lake Lanier's largemouth do not. Blue Ridge do not. So could it have something to do with the largemouth are out there already figured out that the bluebacks and all that are a really tasty thing, and so they're not going to get outcompeted? I don't know. And then there's a couple of different there's a spot. Not all spots are the same. So you got basically two, and I always get them backwards. What a lot of people call the Alabama and the Kentucky, and if I said that wrong, guys, you can say that. One of them is much more of a current, likes the current a lot better, and one of them does really good in lakes. And I always get that messed up, but I know that is one of the things like that. So maybe what you got up there is with that. I don't know, but I would say that your largemouth on Lake Murray, don't act like the largemouth here. I caught about a 2-pound spot on the Chick 2 weekends ago. Yeah, they're there. And a lot of places they got them, but they just don't get big, and I don't know why. I don't know if Lake Lanier or Allatoona or Blue Ridge, if it's because our lakes are, deep Highland Reservoir style lakes. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I always say humans are an invasive species, so I just let nature take its course. Listen at you. They're changing the name to Forsyth county spots and Kentucky's. There you go. But I don't know if it's, I've not fished Murray. I've just watched people fish it. And so what I just said is 100% guess. The ones in Chandler are Kentucky spots. And what's up, John Aldred? He had a hell of a time up in Michigan catching everything, smallmouth and all that. Some good. Looked like he had a lot of fun in that mini kayak. I did see that in the bike club thing. That you said you're gonna have to go get you a mini kayak. John G says a Z Crawl Jr. on the Bushwhacker buzz bait for the win. Tony Collum got you on that. Yeah. Spots are more visual and sight feed more. Lakes that are stained, I don't think they'll ever take over. That could be it. What Lanier has is the Coosa spot or Alabama. Okay. And I know you had fun. I could tell by all your posts. I don't know when you get into biology. I know just on some lakes, the spot, I will say this. Okay, let's take Latham. Again, it always comes back to Latham because it's in my front yard. I always thought a spot was a spot. I didn't know there was a Kentucky spot. There's a couple little subspecies, and they are different the way they act. When Latham was filled up, because I think it might be because there was a few in Yellow Creek or they could come up to Etowah in there, there was a ton of 9 to 12-inch spotted bass. And the largemouth were gigantic. And they stayed that way forever and ever and ever. And then somebody put bluebacks in Latham. The lake also stocks it with threadfin shad. But you pretty much, to the day, anybody that's fished Latham can tell you that when the bluebacks got in there, that changed the spots 100%. Latham is a mini Lake Lanier. If it had rocks, it'd be a mini Lake Lanier. It'd be a perfect mini Lake Lanier. But the spotted bass absolutely changed. And the largemouth, everything changed when the bluebacks were introduced in that lake. West Point spots are pretty small, but finally starting to see some 3-panels. You have to get through 112 inches first. Yep. Marshall Stamps has completed the Georgia Bass Slam. Okay, you're talking about Georgia Bass Slam. That's awesome. Andy Miller, it's possible the largemouth are eating enough spots to keep them in check. Good point. Any bass less than 12 inch has a fair chance of being food for largies. Lanier, it's a habitat thing that limits the largemouth. And he's talking about Murray. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Carson Fowler, when was the last time Hollis and Hickory Log were stocked? You talking about with fish, with bass? I don't know that it's been stocked since it was open. Now, I know catfish died out, and they restocked some catfish in there because they got a disease or something. And I think they had a big brim kill. I don't know if they restocked it with that, but I think it was just the initial stocking of bass, and that was it. And they did not stock it with spotted bass. They stocked it with largemouths. The spots got in there, I think, because of there used to be some old pools down there, waterfalls and stuff where people swam, and I think there was just some in there. Because my fault. Meant to ask when the last time they put bait in there. I don't know about the threadfin. I don't know, but I do know, and let me fix my hour into TikTok thing. I do know that the bluebacks were definitely put in there not by the lake, if you get my drift. That was just people that decided they wanted to do something to better the fishery, and they changed the fishery 100%. And right or wrong, you can argue whether that was the right thing to do. There we go. Got TikTok fixed now. Wish they would dump some gizzard shad in the Hickory Log. Where do you think the biggest spot lives in Georgia? Matt Bryson wants to say. 2 guesses. You guys guess that in the comment section too. Burton, and I still think Carter's. Burton or Carter's, I think, would have the biggest one spot out there. And the reason I say Carter's is because there is so much. Yeah, Matt Carter. There is so much with the alewives and all that stuff in Carter's. There's so much bait that I guarantee you somewhere down there, just sitting there eating the buffet, is a big old spot. And he probably rides around with stripers. He probably hangs around with stripers. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. Burton has been known to have some big ones. I mean, Lanier's got big ones. Either one of them lakes. It could be anywhere. But if I were a betting man and I had to make a little wager, I'd put it on Carter's. There's Kentucky and Coosa back on the spots. I do see some little rats in the lakes that just look strange. Could be Kentucky's or some with some really bad genetics. But back to the gizzards, the gizzard shad, like I think it also depends too. I think if you like hickory log, it being predominantly largemouth, I think gizzard shad would absolutely blow that lake up. Now, there's two types of bass in hickory log, just like they are everywhere. And this goes back to Andy Miller's comment. There's 12-inch bass, and there's bass that eat 12-inch bass. And just because a bass is 12 inches doesn't mean it's a juvenile. Doesn't mean it's a juvenile. You can take that ear thing and you can, if at some point, if that bass didn't have enough food when it was younger, whatever, for whatever reason, and it didn't just kick to that next level, it will stay a 12-inch bass its entire life. Biologists have proven that. And they can still pull, you can pull scales or that ear bone thing, that otolith or whatever we talked about last week, and it's like rings in a tree. But hickory log right now, that's what hickory log's got a few bass that they eat whatever they want to eat. This little lake up here in Big Canoe, pet it. Sits there and eat 9-inch trout all day long. What's the predominant species in Latham? Now, I guess you're talking about bass, Joe. Is that thing? Listen, I will just say this. It was stocked with largemouth. It always had spots. I think the spots are, for a while, have outcompeted the largemouth. I would say my catch rate personally is about 50-50. So I don't know. But you're starting to see largemouth out there schooling with the spots like they do on Murray, like largemouth schooling. Rusty Hicks 4, what do you think about Allatoona? I think it's an absolutely fun lake to fish. I think the bluebacks there are making it, the spots come up. But Allatoona, if I had to catch a trophy largemouth, I'd go to Allatoona before I'd go to Lanier. But I think it's a fun lake to fish, and I think the bluebacks, we'll see. They look like they're making a difference in the pictures and the weights. 007 says tuna getting better. That's what I'm saying. It looks like it's getting there, but let's see what it is in 4 or 5 years. Will it ever be as good as Lanier with the spots? I don't think so, but I do think it's better for largemouth, 100%. Off topic, what's the biggest male bass you've seen? I've got a 3.5 pound, half-pound male mounted. I will say this, probably we've seen some 4s and 5s. You get, when Latham was right, you'd see 2 big ones laying there with each other. I'm telling you, I mean, amazing. Or the guys that does the mountain said it wasn't that common to catch one that big, and I don't think it is either. I don't think it is, but I've seen some big ones. What is a blueback? Is from the herring family, saltwater, and originally I think from saltwater, but they stock them for the around here. They stock them for stripers. The little lake up by Helen has monsters. I've seen pictures of multiple teeners out there. Trout eaters are no joke. And if I missed your comment, write it back down again, because I got 2 of them going, and sometimes it's hard for me to bring them back. But it is alewives and bluebacks. Our lakes predominantly have bluebacks, and it takes a certain type of lake for the blueback to thrive in, and we've got that right condition up here. Clear Highland reservoirs, deep. Alewives are their cousins. Alewives generally stay deeper than the bluebacks. But if you ever get bluebacks in your lake and you got spots, hold on. And Allatoona's seeing that right now. I will say this, though. One thing about Allatoona that I think is a little bit different, I think the days of going over there and catching 112 inches or over, at least it's been harder to catch fish with each time. You still catch fish. I think it's absolutely fun lake. But I think they're getting on that herring bite, and it's changing the spots out there. And so you got to get out there and do a lot more scoping and those kind of things that the guys on Lake Lanier do. Yes, sir. Won a Porco this year with a 6.5 big fish out there, had 17-1. That's awesome. Where's your bait shop located? I need to come down and see what you have. I don't have a ton in here, but you can. It's 11262 Highway 53, Marble Hill, Georgia, 30148. But it is different. But I mean, when the bluebacks got into Latham, it changed it. 100% changed it. And then again, like I said, now, when did I fish that tournament? couple months ago, sometimes it's just weird. It is Unicoi, Cody. I think that's the one you're talking about. I think it is Unicoi. Um, and they don't bite nothing up there. You see them, good luck catching them. 2 months ago, every fish that I caught in 3 foot or less of water on Latham was a spot, and every fish that I caught schooling was a largemouth. Hell, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to me. Drew McCullers just got back from Nickajack, completely different from Lanier. Ain't it, though? You cross that Alabama state line or the Tennessee state line, it just gets different. Did it change it for better or for worse? Now, you're talking about Latham and Duck says Altoona has definitely changed for the good. Been fishing it all my life. Yeah, I can see it. The quality is better. The weights of the tournaments are better. But Messick, if you're talking about Latham, you want my opinion? I think it's for the worse. I think it's for the worse because a lot of people don't talk about this. Bass spawn. Bass have fry. Fry go to the grass or the docks or wherever they can hide. When the fry get there, the bluebacks go up and they spawn. Bluebacks eat bass fry. I think it's just me. I don't think they're the best thing in the world for a lake. Now, I'm talking a smaller lake like Latham. I think on a bigger lake like Lanier, Altoona, you got enough space that you can make up for that. The weights used to be really, really, really high on Latham. It used to take 20 pounds to win. 5 fish, you had to have 20-something to win, or right at 20. And the majority of those fish were largemouth. You're not seeing stringers that big of largemouth. Could it be the herring and that made the spots kick? I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know what the reason is, but I think 6, 7 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, like it took 20 pounds to win it, Latham, on a 5 fish. And now 16, 17. And there's a lot of different reasons. People say COVID pressure, all the stuff people keep in fish and all that. But I just don't hear of like the monster largemouth caught out that I used to. I don't see as many pictures. Are they there? Yes, they're still there. But used to, I'd see a couple 10 plus took out of it every year. Speaking of what you got in the shop, I got some goodies. Good. I got a guy in here. Steve Eller has been hounding me for some of them flukes you got going on there. I got to get them. First person I've heard say herring are for the worst. Now, it's lake dependent, Messick. It's lake dependent. Stephen Gutsy says, lot of largemouth and spotted bass crossing with each other. It's weird. It's weird. Now, guys, you're starting to see a group of largemouth guys are catching offshore on Lanier. Caught an 8.4 on Alatoona this weekend with 20 pounds. Jarrett, 14. Jarrett K, 14. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, Alatoona puts out some giant largemouth bass. It's set up perfect, too, for it. I don't – there's so much – Alatoona is just so different than Lanier that I think your largemouth, the habitat and the way they draw it down and then they draw it back up, I don't know what that's got to do with it. But it works for largemouth. Cameraman Cletus, it's 2025, and there are all kinds of new breeding habits. You got that right. Largemouth on Laney are already on fall patterns. Yeah, again, that has a lot to do with it too. But again, herring, they're predators, eat a lot of eggs and fry. Farmer said that. But it just depends too, man, Messick. It just depends on the lake. Lanier can handle it for the most part. 38,000 acres deep. We'll see what the end result is on Latham because I'm privy to maybe fish that at certain times when others can't. And I've been by myself, and you would not believe the schools of blueback heron that I have seen on that lake. I'm talking like an acre coming right by you, right around the boat, and fish not even chasing them, just bluebacks all over the place. And we'll see how long that lasts. If they die out or something, I don't know. But herring are predators. They got to eat too. And think about this during a shad spawn. Think about this, Messick, during a shad spawn, when they're up there in a blow through, and a lot of guys they'll chunk a underspin or a spinnerbait up there. You feel like you're getting bit, boom, 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 all the time. That's them bluebacks popping them daggum blades. They're predators, man. They are. Now, I'm not saying they're piranhas or anything, but they are predators. But it's also, when I say that, it's timing. It's a terrible time because they spawn at the right time after the largemouth or after the bass, and whichever one it is. And them things are up in the shallows hiding and stuff like that. It's just not the best. And biologists have told us that. So I'm not a biologist. I'm just going based on what people say. Tyler says Allatoona of the past could definitely use some bluebacks eating bass fry. See, that's another thing too. You get too many competition. 1 acre of water in a lake, whether it's a pond or Lanier or Allatoona or whatever. There's X amount of biomass in that given acre of water. That biomass will take care of X amount of pounds of fish. If you get too much, fish suffer. Too little, I don't know, same thing. If Aldridge's on here, he can talk about that. Mother Nature has a way of making it work. Kentucky was terrible for 7 years when the Asian carp moved in. It's great now. Chris, what I've always wanted to do? Like, I really have always wanted to go down one of them things when they're up jumping with a football helmet on and just plow through those things. I know it probably hurts like crazy, but it looks like fun. Kevin Underwood says they'll take up most of the biomass the lake can support. That's why they stock striper to keep the bluebacks from taking over. And then I thought it was a little bit, and Kevin, you might be right now, but didn't they originally put the bluebacks in for the striper? And I could be wrong on that. But you guys remember Lake Lanier used to have lake trout in it. My papa and my daddy used to sit in front of Buford Dam. We have them with shotguns, Chris said. Yeah, I think that would be fun. They used to sit out there in front of Buford Dam. Now, I've seen them do it back in the 80s. They would drop a night crawler in corn, just like you would chunk over here in the river for trout. And they would drop that thing down deep and just sit there all night in their boat. And they'd end up, putting fish in the cooler. Big old lake trout. Stripers took care of that. And I think now if you catch a trout in Lanier, either it's one that striper guy let go and it just hasn't been eaten yet, or I guess you get occasionally you get a couple coming down from the river. I don't know, though. Again, I'm not a biologist. But how do you think a shad herring kill would help our herring lakes? Do you think we'll see that? And what does it take weather-wise for that to happen? And Doug Rice, I swear to you, I will call you today, buddy. I promise. I don't know, dude. Again, I don't know. I know it. I hear a lot of guys over this past year really, really talking about, man, we need to have some cold to have a shad kill. I don't know that we've had enough sustained cold for it to happen the way guys want it to happen. Getting almost time to start throwing my tiny topwaters on a BFS setup. That or chunk out one of them rooster tails, baby. I'm telling you, listen, don't sleep on a rooster tail. And I'm telling you, the little spro. Now listen, the spro larvae, that little micro spinnerbait. The reason I took it out yesterday is because, number one, I want to see how far I could cast it. And I didn't get in a boat. I didn't get, and I didn't really get a good place in the river. I was going to fish it in them pools and all that. But there were certain slow sections that I wanted to see if I could bomb it. And I'm telling you, you could throw it. It's got enough weight. You can throw it as far as anything. Little bitty thing. You guys check it out online. It's called the larvae. It's from Spro. I think they'd absolutely hammer that thing, Steven. I think spotted bass and all that, anytime they start blowing up, getting on that small fry, I think they will hammer it. Now, it's not topwater. It's not topwater. But still, and I think it'd be fun on some really lightweight stuff. The rod that I had yesterday was an old Lew's rod and reel combo that spinning rod and reel combo that I had. I ripped off all the old line on it, cleaned it up a little bit, been sitting in the building, and I put 6 pound Cigar Red Label on it, fluoro, and I could just sit there and just, and that little thing would just fly. I used to catch rainbow trout off the bridge pilings fishing with my dad when I was little. Can of corn on a split shot rig. Yeah. And cotton cordell blade bait, just change your hooks out. Yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm curious to see once I catch a fish, because again, that Spro larva was put out. That's one of their new trout baits, but it's a spinner bait. It's just a spinner bait with a different kind of body on it, and I think that little thing. I think it would work for crappie, brim, bluegill, right? Because they got some bluegill, like bug colors in it. That and the old bucktail spoon that you can cast a mile will reek the bass on in there. Wreck. What I say reek? Wreck. We were on Notley once, and the closest bait we had to match the size of the bait was a rooster tail. It was the perfect size, but didn't get bit. You could catch trout on Blue Ridge pretty steady on rooster tail. All right, James, I love you, but I'm going to tell you this. It is a poor musician who blames his instrument. I think it was you, man, not the rooster tail. I'm just kidding with you. I'm just kidding. You know what? It might not, but I'll tell you this. On Latham, it works. It also works on Hickory Log, and it also works on Lake Lanier. Farmer's got a video out. If you go on Farmer's YouTube channel, is it on your YouTube, Farmer? Yeah, it was you. It was all your fault, James. It wasn't a bait. It was you. But I believe Farmer was catching some bass on Lanier last week with a rooster tail. Correct me if I'm wrong, Farmer. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Seems like I saw a video, and maybe that was just one I wasn't supposed to talk about. Yeah, okay, it is. Check out Farmer's YouTube page. He's got a video of that. It'll be cold before we know it. Y'all got me excited about the fall and cold season. Heck yeah, it will be. Deer season opens up in a month. It needs to turn cold. Like, I wish this is where, if I could set the weather up right, the real Michael, my wife caught a 7-pound bass on a rooster tail. That, and think about this. What's that old little bitty spinner? Beetle spins. How many big, huge bass were caught on a beetle spin? Tons of them, but nobody thinks about them being a big bass bait. User 914-82222236641. Man, that's a hell of a name. I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of JDM and regular baits. The original Panther Martin. Dude, there you go. Panther Martin's another thing, too. It's killer. Chunk of Panther Martin or one of them blue foxes. Trout baits. You know the blue fox. It's like this, the silver, like a bullet weight with the spoon. Chunk one of them in the fall for topwater and schooling fish. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. Oh, deer opened up in South Carolina August 15th here in South Carolina. Yeah, y'all shooting them daggum velvety deer, though. I don't want no velvet deer. I ain't got no interest in velvety deer. I know a lot of guys like that. If that's your thing, you might as well be watching the Minnesota Vikings cheerleading squad. I ain't about velvet deer, and I'm just playing. And if you have a male friend that's a cheerleader, please apologize to him for me. Trick is not to bend the hooks out when using them, and you get hooked up on the biggins. I got you, yeah. So rooster tails caught a lot of fish. Well, think about that. Silver Buddy will also work great. MB Hensley says on TikTok. There's a lot. Why do you not like it? Carson's asking me. Which one are you talking about? Velvet deer? Velvet deer would be nice for a mount. Let them boys finish growing up. Let them grow up. What's up, Coach? Haven't seen you since the DCA days. Going to stop by the store here soon for some juice. MJ, dude, yeah, come on and see me. Come on and see me. Topwater spooks for bass. Y'all use them? I do for saltwater. Yes, spooks are they work. Absolutely work. Velvet deer, listen, no, I'm just playing. I don't have the desire. There you go. Velvet hunt is just too hot. If you could give me a big 10-pointer in velvet or that same 10-pointer without velvet, I'm going to choose without velvet. That's just me. But listen, guys, we're Switzerland here. You do you. You do you. If you're into velvet, go for it. But I will tell you this. It is too hot to be hunting deer right now. Also, too, Bust 'em Outdoors. Farmer says spook with a front runner right now. A lot of guys around here use a front runner, if you know what that is. But yeah, people throw them around here all the time. Now, I will say this: some of them hooks, they ain't the best. That velvet's going to give it a few extra inches, though. Carson, I've been dealing a few inches short my entire life, dude. I can wait till it gets hard. Am I late, fish nerds? Yes, you are. You came in on that comment right there. Which leads me to, I got to get this in there. How many of you guys know what a bent carrot is? Just curious. Do you know what a bent carrot is? My wife showed me this. What is a front runner? A front runner is, it's a little, you put it about 12 inches in front of your spook or other top waters. It floats. It's just like a little head with a hook. And it's almost, it kind of makes it look like the spook is chasing it across the top. That's the easiest way to say it. That's what it is. Just Google front runner and you'll see. A lot of companies make different. They call different things depending on the company and all that. Fred Ashcraft, I've been waiting on the carrot. Do you know what that is? And listen, my wife, listen, because you know how I am. My wife asked me yesterday, she goes, like a corkscrew shape, right? Are you talking about the carrot or are you talking about the front runner? Because, yeah. So let's just say this. A bent carrot is your thing bent. It happens to some guys natural. It's called Peyronie's disease. There's a commercial out there that I wish you guys would just go Google where a man and his wife are sitting there and they're having the most serious, loving conversation about a bent carrot. I was going to put it in the link for you guys to watch it. My wife thought that was the funniest thing, and there's no way I don't have to deal with it. But I want you guys to just Google the commercials for this medical company that will help you with a bent carrot and just watch the conversation this man and this woman are having. It is classically one of the funniest things you'll ever see. What's your favorite way to fish tuna this time of year? What's your favorite way to fish? If I were fishing tuna right now, I'd probably throw a buzz bait early along the banks. I'm always going to have a Wacky or Nico, that kind of. We're going to figure that out, Chandler. It's going to change a little bit. I'll post it on the Fish North Georgia group page tomorrow. But I would throw a Nico or a chicken rig. I don't know. It just depends on the part of the lake. Let's say I'm going in Stamp Creek because that's where our electric only tournaments go out of. Run and gun, brush and timber. And yeah, you can do that. It just depends on what you like. Buzz bait on tuna, jig, and crankbait, farmer said. And that becomes buzz bait, yes. I'd rather throw a worm than a jig because I just have more confidence in it, but not because it's better. Crankbait, yeah, it depends. Depends on where you're fishing, I think. But you can get out there and scope it. I guess it's just, whatever is the best for you. Kevin, I won't stick on it. Listen, because we've gone so long, I'm not going to stick on the carrot too much. You guys need to go. You guys need to go check it out. And if you're suffering from that, there is a cure. But it also requires about 4 weeks of individual stretching, which is the part that got me. You guys can go with that. Take it for what you wish at that point. Not only you got to take the medicine. That's what I told my wife. I said, now listen, you do realize. Now I ain't got the problem. But I said, you did catch the part about the month, 3 to 4 weeks of individual stretching. Whatever that is, it is. But also, too, if you suffer for itty pops, contact your doctor. I mean, I think I just leave it the way it is. All right, anyway, guys, so with that, let's see. We've been going about an hour and a half today. It is Monday. We'll figure out the live well. I'll be back tomorrow at 12 doing this one. Due to a few things, I'm going to make a few changes on the live well for tomorrow night. And I'm going to talk to that individual after we get off the show. But again, you guys, I love that you guys come up here and hang with me every day. It's so much fun. And TikTok, I'm starting to get a lot of guys watching on TikTok here and there. They come in and out, but you guys are always like so consistent on YouTube. It's It's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to end it today. It's Monday. I got some work to do. I got to call Doug Rice. Hopefully he's going to take me deer hunting in Kentucky. That's what that call's about. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. Could you see if you can get Carter Nutt on the live well? He's a good one. Yeah. Kevin said, check my messages. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll see if I can get that. I'll see if I can get him on. Let me get my mouse up there right. But anyway, you guys, hey, listen. How many Googled bent carrot, Stephen Guthrie? I wish I had more time to go on it because I had a whole daggone. Listen, that was one I had planned out to go a long way. And just because we talked so much fishing today, it couldn't. But I don't want to talk about it tomorrow unless you guys bring it up. And I hope none of you suffer from a bent carrot. Yeah, Farmer, get with me later on this afternoon about that. Guys, again, remember too, Ryan Sheffield Benefit Tournament. I should have said that at the beginning. And that's going to be September 6th. Already got 8 boats pre-registered as of right now. And I know the closer we get to that, it's going to be a lot more. You will get the blast off will be in the order you have paid. So if you want John G, you Google bent carrot stretching. I don't know that you should have done that. He's a young bassman up here on the Chicken, has been doing good in the FLW. Yeah, Chandler. In fact, Chandler, do you know it? Matt Bryson, I regret Googling it. Chandler, do you know him? Do you know Carter Nutt personally? If you do, put me in contact with him. Let's see if we can exchange numbers. I'll get him on. But anyway, September 6th, blast off is in the order that you paid, and pre-register is going on right now. You can call me at 678-283-6700 here at Fish North Georgia. You can pay Venmo or PayPal right now. And if you can't fish on September 6th and you just want to donate some money to the cause to help out Ryan and his family during this time, that would be awesome as well. Not personally, no, but I may know someone who is. Find out, Chandler. Find out. Put me in contact with him. Listen, I'll talk to anybody. And if it's a young guy up and coming, those are my favorite. So absolutely. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your Monday. And I will see you tomorrow at 12. I'll make a post about who's going to be on the live well tomorrow night. And just enjoy the rest of your day. All right. We'll help each other get through this week. I appreciate all you guys, you YouTube guys. Y'all are going off first. So we will see you later. Y'all have a good day.